Hey guys, this is Heretic, and this is the first impressions video for War and Order. So I played War and Order a couple years ago and decided to come back and take another look at it. There's so many cool features in this game, and while I can't really go into a lot of detail in this first video, I can tell you there is a ton to do in the game. It has many similarities to other castle building games. You know, you have a city with buildings, and you upgrade your castle. Some of the buildings are only available, once you reach a certain castle level. I think this one is 19 to get to that building, to that item. Like most of the other games in this genre, you can join alliances. You can fight other players on the map. Let me show you how the map looks. You can fight other players on the map. It's very similar to most of the games that are in this genre. You can also fight against other kingdoms. So you can look in the middle of the map, and you can become the king of your server, of your kingdom. You can set titles and rewards and that kind of thing, like you would see in most of the games that are like this. One of the things that the first things that I saw here is that the actual battle would happen on a Friday night for me instead of at 5 o'clock in the morning, like in other games. So that makes it a whole lot easier on me, personally. So let's look at some of the things that War and Order has that's very different in other games. Some of the things I really like about War and Order. One of them is the mini games. The mini games are awesome. So you have two different ones here. One of them is kind of a castle capture. So I'll show you how that works real quick. So you go in and you have these castles with troops, and you can upgrade them. And when you upgrade them, you can gather troops faster. So troops just kind of build. And you're against this red team. This is the computer team up here. And so these gray ones are castles that you can take. They're neutral, so you can take those. And the goal is to take over the whole map. So you can go here. Kind of helps you through a little bit in the beginning. There's some cool little features about it, like you can send. And this goes throughout the game. Whenever you send monsters out, you send troops out to attack and things like that, you can just set it to automatically just send 75% of your troops, or 50%, or 25%. So you go through. As you take these castles and you upgrade them, you start to gather more troops, a lot faster. And so, as you go through this, the strategy involved increases quite a bit. There's different kinds of buildings. There's some buildings that when anyone walks, from the other side through its area, they take damage. Cool little tactic. And there's just, there's a lot of strategy involved when you get further down the line, because if you expand too fast and you don't actually have the troops to support it, then the other side could actually build up hundreds of troops and kill you that way. So it's pretty interesting. So as you can see, this is one of the earlier levels. It's a lot easier. All right, pretty easy peasy to go through and win these. So this is one of the first levels, and as you go through, you actually get rewards, and you can use these. These are things that are important to you. So that's one of the mini games. And let me get out of this. The other one, and man, I am just completely addicted to this one. This is a tower defense type game, and it can be pretty difficult to go through. It's a lot of fun. So in this one, you build kind of your defenses through here, and your goal is to keep the other side from making it to your castle, which the castle happens to be over here. And so as you go through, you'll have troops come out from different portals. And so you just try to slow them down and kill them on the way. So I'm just kind of messing around in this one. But I think you get the point here. It's super, super, super fun. It gets harder as you go through these different waves. And eventually you'll get bosses that come out. And the goal is to prevent them, the other side, from reaching at all. which gets really hard. You'll have hundreds and hundreds of these monsters come out that are trying to make it through. And they all have different skills, so it's pretty interesting. It's funny, but you get the point. It's super, super fun. It's super addictive. It's so addicting that a lot of times I'll miss what's actually happening in chat in the Alliance. And there's things going on. I'm like, man, there's heretics, stuck in that mini game for hours at a time. So it's a lot of fun. The choice of beast in the game is really cool. So you have these beasts that go with you on your attacks. And so you have a choice between a panda, a dragon, a unicorn Pegasus, and a phoenix. So it's really cool. And they grow, and there's skins and stuff that go with them as well. So you can be like a pirate panda, and it's funny. It's interesting. And each one of the beasts that you have different skills too. So there's a little bit of strategy involved there. It's not just visual. So another thing that you can do that I like that's different is you can replay the battles that you have. So your success and your defeat. So when you lose to something, you can actually look at the actual battle that happens behind the scenes, which is a really cool effect. So you could see that, I needed more cav in this battle, or more infantry or whatever to protect. So it kind of gives you some cool info here. So it's better than just a normal battle report. You can look at a lot of things that you can't see in other games. Another of the things here that you don't see in other games, and this is the best that I've seen in any game, is just the whole alliance setup. So there's different things that you can do. There's events that you have as alliances that are located here in your alliance page. This is where you're, researching, and you can donate and all of that. And there's also, your membership, and you see who's online and who's not. That's built in. Something really, really cool is you can set who is going to be the architect in your alliance. So I could appoint Principe here, and we have Ren as a diplomat and Grimm as the recruiter. We have no commander yet, but we will. And then you can move people through, the ranks. There's a certain, at the beginning, you can only have, for example, 4 deputies, but as your alliance expands through your donations and technology, alliance technology, you actually get more of each of those types. So then you can have more deputies, you can have more officers, and it's pretty cool the way that it's set up. I really like that. Then in Manage Alliance, there's a lot of things here that is just completely different than I've seen in any other game. So you can do things like you can set up an alliance flag, and the flags are what you would see on the map for your alliance. You can completely customize it. You can even upload a picture to be your flag design, which is a really cool concept. You can set up real allies and real enemies here, and they have different benefits. There's actually something to it. So with your allies, you're able to port around the map into the allies' hives. And so it helps with movement and mobility across the map. And it's a cheap way to actually move around the map. So you don't have to pay for the full teleport price. You can actually pay significantly less to move into the hive of one of your allies. Just the whole interface for setting up your alliance, the name, the abbreviation, the motto. You can set up contact information for you. So I could have people reach out to me online. I can set up, there's a lot of little things that you don't see in other games in this genre here. And so you can tell they put a lot of thought into actually setting up your alliance, and I love it. There's batch management if you want to grab a bunch of people and move them around to different ranks or to remove them. There's a lot of really cool stuff. You can actually look up other alliances here. Even though that you're in an alliance, you can look up other alliances and what they have. So there's a lot of just the whole general alliance setup is much better than most games. You you have an alliance shop, you have a group chat that you can do. You can set up with all of the members in your alliance or a subset if you like. Another thing that I really like about War and Order is the crafting system. The crafting system in War and Order is not just, wait for the next item to come out and then purchase fragments of it and pay a ton of money to upgrade. All of it's here in the game. Technically, it is free. You can get items and upgrade them to different levels. So you have white level, the gray level gives you the lowest amount of stats in your gear. Green is better, blue, and then I think it's orange is the legendary. Yeah, here. So it goes gray, green, blue, purple, and then orange is your max. And so each one of these levels gives you a better opportunity, a better reward, better stats on your gear. So these are the items that you actually use. And so you can just go through the storage and upgrade to the next level. And I'll show you why that's important in just a second. So let's go over to the actual equipment. And I could have done it from there. But here's the equipment. And whenever you make something, it depends on the level of your forge. And you can go all the way up to level 40 items. So to move up, you have to have one item of the previous. It doesn't have to be of the same type. So you could have a helmet, and you could use that as a piece to actually upgrade to the next level. But so if you go here, you'd have different choices of items to upgrade. So I have two different choices here for level 15. One of them, erases the army size limit, the march capacity, the cav attack, the archer attack. And the other one gives infantry attack, mage attack, and march speed. So there's pros and cons of both. And then you can see the items here. It automatically will fill in the best items that you have. And so these are the items that are required, the resources that are required to actually build this item. And then you have to select the previous level, item that could go with it. And so I'm not going to actually make this, but just say I created a blue. I would have a 100% chance of getting a blue level 15 item with this setup. But if I had one piece of green in here, now it had 50%, 57% blue, and a 42% chance of getting a green, which the stats would be different, and so on. So the higher you go on this, the better the stats you would get. So the max stats for this item at level 15 would be 10, 10, 10. So it's just kind of cool the way that they have this whole crafting system set up to make your own gear. So on that, you can actually, for free, you can have these items built for you. You can queue them up, and you can go, you can start with the white, and you can also have the green level items, and you could just queue this up. And as you go through the day, so when you're asleep, it'll actually make an item. When you wake up in the morning, you click it, and you've got it in your inventory. And you can just do that to build up the amount of resources that you have so that you can actually make good gear. So really love the crafting system. So in PvP, one thing that, some other games have something like this, but you have rallies and you have solo attacks, but you also have timed attacks. So you could get 4 or 5 people in your alliance, and you could attack someone and then time it down to where everybody hits that other person at that same exact moment, that second. So with a little bit of communication and strategy, you're able to destroy someone, because when that battle starts, it's not an instant attack. It is something that can happen as a group attack. So a lot of the things that you do in the game, this is kind of a helper type thing, and I really love this. So for example, and this happens in a lot of areas, it's not just here in the donations, but if I go through and I donate, so I went 3 times, and on the 4th time it said, use one tap donation to complete the remaining 12 donation times. Yes? No? Yes. So I've done it, and I don't have to click it 20 times. Another thing is like whenever you're upgrading a building, it's the same type of thing. You know, like I don't have all the resources opened in my pack. So if I go through and if I'm upgrading, and it could be building, recruiting troops, training troops, or research here in the research, and I'll show you one. Go to the college, go in here, and if there's something I have to research, like this guy right here. Let's say I didn't have the resources in my pack open, and you know, and it had like I was missing some food and some wood. When I click research, it's gonna say, would you like to take, you know, take the items that you have that haven't been opened and apply those? And you just, it's like fast open, and it just opens just enough to do that next thing, whether it's research or training troops or upgrading a building. Same type of thing. It's just little helper things to keep you from the frustrating, repetitive stuff in the game. Love that. Another thing that you can do is you can actually queue up. So you have an upgrade, a training, or a research, or upgrading buildings. You can actually queue that up so that when you're asleep, if one of them finish, it will actually pick up at the next item in your queue and go with that. So you're not having to wake up at, you know, a certain time to keep things going, you know, 24/7. Another cool thing that I really like about the game, this is all just cosmetic, is you have these chat decorations that you can do. So you can have these different types of chat decorations, and you can also very easily, and these are things that are done without having to, these are things that you can get without having to wait for a specific event or spend money, right? These are things that you can get that are pretty easy to get. I get, you know, with very minimal types of purchases, you can get this one was actually a reward, and I get it for 3 days. So was Grimm's, but the permanent skin is not that hard to get with very minimal types of purchases. It's not like in other games where, you know, people are spending tons of money to get, you know, a specific skin. Here you can actually go to decorations. I can show you. So that's the one that I have in effect. If I go to shop, there's a ton, you know, some of them are reward based on different events, but some of them you can actually purchase, and there's actually good ones that you can get. And so these, I get 50 of these diamonds every day, or rainbow diamond, I'm not sure what it's called, but I can use those, and I just need 300 to be able to get, you know, one of these cool skins. Same thing, chat bubbles. You can just use the crystals that you have in the game, and you can get different, you know, different chat bubbles that you can use, and there's a ton of them. And they give you examples. That's the one I'm using currently, and I think I have a few more days on that one. But it's just little funny, fun things that you can do. And so those show up both in your Alliance chat and in World chat too. They'll show up there as well. And as you can see in the game, the graphics are really good for this genre. You know, you have the monsters that roam around. It's more 3D and less 2D throughout. So these are, you know, these are random nodes that you can get and you can control with your Alliance. But just everything is just more 3D and visual, and it just looks a lot better than most games. You have all kinds of crazy stuff on the map. One of the things that I really love about the graphics is both outside your castle and within your castle, going by your local time. When it's dark outside in your area, there's a nighttime mode that comes on. There's also actual seasons in the game, and depending on where you are in the map, you'll see different visual things like snow and, you know, rain and etc. And so this is just a first impressions type video. I'll do this for other games, and I'll do more details on War and Order as well. I want to kind of show what's out there to people on my channel. I hope you're interested in this. and seeing, what's available in different games. And if you do want to play War and Order, my alliance CRE is in War and Order. We're in Kingdom 1402. I will leave a link below the video, and you can click that to actually install the game. You'd be able to transfer over to 1402 pretty easily. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and take care.